What is going on, everybody? Today we are going to talk about maybe the most impressive app that I have found that might actually have the biggest influence on your golf game and what you shoot. Let's talk about it. Hey everybody, Scott Oden coming at you. We're going to be talking about an app here and a thought that I think will help many players in their golf games. But before we do that, make sure you check out the links below. We do have the Flight Scope sales going on. We have the heat wave going on. It's 100 degrees here in Chicago already before humidity, so we need to keep that liquid IV going and keep hydration going. So check them out down below. They are what are keeping me going as we've been teaching all summer so far. So make sure you check those out and take advantage of those deals that are down in the description below. So I've talked about this in the past. I am working on trying to get my game ready for tournament golf. So, I spent all last year getting my swing back in order, getting my game back in order, kind of just, when I'm playing casual rounds, I want to shoot better scores. So what I want to do is get my tournament game going. So what that led me to start doing was I had to start kind of taking some more systematic approaches to things that are going on. One of those being my course strategy. And this is something I talk with players all the time. It's one of the biggest differences I know I can make. And I know I've talked with other pros and other, PGA professionals when they do pro-ams. This is one of the biggest differences that I can make for somebody in their game, or, pros can make for somebody in their game, because strategy is huge. And I think people so often get strategy wrong that they really struggle to understand how to best maximize their score but minimize their risk. So what I think is really cool, we used to do this with scorecards and getting people to fill things out and do that, but I think what's really cool is there's actually a new app that was shown to me that I think is going to change the way things go. And it's called Hello Birdie. And this thing is awesome. So this app, you can get it on the iOS store. You can get it, and it's so cool because what it does is it does like a little bit of the GPS for you, right? But it has this feature on it that lets you actually plan out your rounds so you can get better, okay? So to do this, let's fire up the app. I want to show it to you because I think this is something that can really help you. We get to the app and you can see I've got a couple things in here that we're going to go over, but the big thing is, the first thing we have to do is we got to get everything set up. So there's a couple things we got to do as we go. So you can go through, you can set everything up. You can actually put this on your Apple Watch too. But you have to set up your golf bag, okay? So what you'll do is when you set up your profile, you'll actually set up your goals and what you're trying to do as you go forward. You'll set up, hey, this is my scoring goal, all right? And then what you do is you have to set up your bag. Now there's a couple ways you do this. You can put all your clubs in like I have right here. I've got all my clubs in. You can then put in your distances, but you also put in your dispersion. Now you can do this manually, okay? You can do this manually where you would hit balls on your launch monitor, but you also can just have them do it for you based on where you currently are and what you're trying to do. It will tell you like, hey, this is where in that score range, this is average what people are doing. I would personally recommend trying that first because what I find is that those are pretty accurate. So let's take a look at it here as we look at the menu. So you'll see for driver, for example, I'm hitting it about 280 yards or so. That's where I've been at. The dispersion, you're looking at in yards, where are your shots going? So let's say I hit one pretty solid. I'm hitting it and it's in about a 51-yard range from right to left. Now, everybody's gonna say, Scott, 51 yards, that is massive. What are you talking about? Well, if you think about it, on the PGA Tour, the fairways are about 30 yards wide, and that's pretty narrow. So if we go to our average courses of being like 40, 45 yards wide, I mean, that's shots that are hitting the fairway or just off the fairway. I think a lot of people, and this is why I love this app, is a lot of people don't realize how wide their dispersions are with clubs. They are thinking, oh, I'm gonna knock this in there really, really tight, or I'm gonna hit that fairway with this driver. And what ends up happening is it gets really, really tough. So the other thing you'll see is on the right and left, it's like, hey, when I hook one, how far left of that 51 yards do I miss it? Well, 37 yards, that's not too unreasonable to go left of the fairway. I know I've been playing some rounds in tournaments, and yeah, I've been hitting a couple left and right. It happens. So I think people don't understand that part first. I think that's what I love about this, is it's informing people of how wide their dispersion actually is, and that how much you have to actually plan for when you are actually trying to hit these shots. You know, Jason Day a few years ago was the #1 player in the world, and his dispersion with driver from right to left was 150 yards. That was when he was the #1 player in the world. So it's not crazy from 37, 51, you know, that's 88 plus 37, you know, that's 120 yards. It's not crazy for me to be planning on having that wide of a range. Where am I going to be going? And basically, I need that much room for this to be a safe club for me to hit. So that's where we go. You'd obviously go all the way through the bag. You can see down, you have your lob, wedge, and putter, and then you are all entered. So you want to get all that data in. Again, I would just probably use the recommended ones they give you, but you could put it in yourself. Now from there, then we would fire up a round. So here's what's really cool. So I've got this fired up. I just played at Flossmoor, but I want to do one here at the Hawk Country Club. Okay, we played here, and I used to work here, and this place is crazy hard with, you know, it's not too hard if you play it smart, but it's hard for people because they just automatically come out there and they say driver. I hit about 3 drivers when I play this golf course, so I was interested to see how it would stack up for what's going on. Now, you can choose your tees, so we play the purple. We can do event name if we want. We're gonna leave that blank now. We're doing stroke play. We'll leave it on training mode. Training mode just gives you a little bit more, but I can put it on competition mode as well, which I have already done, so you can do that. What I like is it actually gets the wind for you and the temperature. It also gets the altitude of the course, and it factors all that in when it's saying, hey, you should pick this club. So if I hit create round, we're gonna let it do its thing. We're gonna get our round picked out, and let's go ahead and get started with that, okay? So here we go. This is what we've got. Now this is the one thing I would say that's a little bit interesting. So you can see this is a par 72. What I'm gonna do is say, set up a game plan. The one thing that'll happen is I have my goal set at, hey, I wanna shoot even par. So it does kind of say like, hey, you should just par every hole. Got to be careful with that because that's not how it works. Usually if you're gonna shoot even par, it's, you know, I'm gonna make a couple bogeys, a couple birdies. Same thing if you're a 90s player, like somebody who's trying to be a bogey golfer, you're not gonna make bogeys on every hole. You're gonna make a double or two, and you're gonna make a par or two. That's how that works. So you do have to be careful with that part of it. I can obviously move the slider and it starts telling me kind of what are the easier holes. You start seeing that pop up. It'll start letting you know, hey, these are where your birdie chances are gonna be. If I go up harder, it actually starts letting me know where the bogey opportunities would be. So that's something you can take with it. But this game planning feature is extremely cool. Okay, so like I said, when I play this course, I try to hit the ball about 3 times with the driver. This is exactly how I play this first hole. I hit a 4-iron off the tee, and we just played here a couple weeks ago. I hit a 4-iron off the tee, and then it left me about a 7-iron. I think I ended up hitting 6 because it was a little bit more into the wind. But you have up here on the top, you can have the normal mode. I can click the best reward, which means basically, hey, I'm going to hit driver. I'm not sure why it puts the P sometimes for putter, but that is the driver, obviously at 293. That's basically telling you what is your kind of risky, but hey, you might get a big payoff. And then you can go lowest risk. And you can see it's telling me for what I'm trying to do, the lowest risk is I should play a 4-iron off the tee, okay? Now we go to the next hole, which is a shorter hole. We're gonna see it's telling me 218, it's telling me hit 4-iron on this hole, and that's gonna leave me, because when you have the dashed lines, it's telling me I'm basically gonna have some sort of lower chip type shot in. It's gonna be a half shot, not even a full shot. So that's gonna be good. I can go for the reward and hit 3-wood and try to drive the green, but it's telling me the lowest risk way is to do that, right? And then I can work my way through the entire round. Now you can change these if you would like. If I just click the club, you know, you can change the club that they tell you to hit off the tee. So let's say I really want to hit driver. I do this. I'm not sure why it does the putter thing, but it does for me. And then there we go. We can kind of pick our plan as you go. All right. So we would work our way through the entire round. Now, once I'm done, what's really cool is I could actually click on the bottom left, click course book. Now what this is I can get a printable course book. So it's gonna give me scorecards where I can actually track all of my shots, which is important because you actually can track your rounds in the app. Now, let's say you don't wanna do it on your phone, you just wanna have the paper, or like I play in tournaments, so I have to, you know, I can't do that. And the competition mode, by the way, doesn't give you the slope or the wind or any of that. That's what makes it competition mode. But when I go to the bottom, it actually gives me my plan printed out. So then the goal is follow your plan that you have going and see what happens. So I think that's really, really cool and really, really helpful for people to try and work on it. I can already see one where I made an error where I should have done something differently, but again, kind of depends on what you're trying to do and where you're going with your game. So just a really, really cool app, one that I think is going to help change. And I bet if people went through their own courses, set this up, got some, you know, look at yardages, again, just use the ones they have set up even, and start playing the strategy and understanding how little you actually would like hit driver here. I bet you'd find some different things that are going on and realizing, hey, I could play this in a much smarter way, and I'm probably losing myself some strokes as we go through. So this has been a really cool app, one of my favorite things. I do this before all my tournaments. I did it for the last two, I should say I did it for the last two. And the first one, I had a score, kind of didn't follow the plan so good. The next one followed the plan really good, was way better, had my lowest tournament score in a while at a 74. I'm excited about that and excited to do it again. I got Chicago Golf coming up where we're not allowed rangefinders or phones or anything. So I'm gonna have that course book printed out with everything and have my plan going in. So a really cool app. I highly recommend you check them out. Get over to the App Store and check it out. It's called Hello Birdie, and really, really fun stuff and really cool stuff to be able to check out. And by the way, you'll track your rounds afterwards and it'll give you some stats and everything and things that you should work on. It also will grade you on how well you're following the plan that is given to you. So I think all of that feedback is really gonna help people and actually make a big difference as you're going through and working on your game. So if you have questions about it, please leave a comment down below. I'd love to answer as many as I can. And also, if you want to check it out, make sure you go to see Hello Birdie. I'll link them down below as well. And also, make sure you click that subscribe button if you're not a subscriber already. I've got one of my favorite devices coming up for green reading. It's been awesome. So we'll have that coming up here soon as well. Don't miss out on that one. It's a really cool device, all right? Thanks everybody for watching and tuning in. We'll catch you in the next one. Peace.